You know, chaps, I am doing this video for no reason other than it's really funny. Because as it turns out, I get a great kick out of watching nitwitted grifters get exposed because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Enter SmashJT and Colin Moriarty. Now, for the record, I am not terribly familiar with either of these people, but I knew from the opening statements this could only end in a train wreck. By the way, I would highly recommend, if you wish to watch the full video, go watch Harmful Opinions one, if only because Harmful's commentary makes it less agonizing and far more amusing. God bless Harmful as well. He's about the only creator that overlaps with games that I genuinely respect. Calls it down the middle, no grifting, no faction simping, no ideological bollocks, just legit straight shooting dude. Probably because, much like myself, he doesn't give a flying fuck about game sales. Frankly, the only people who do are either analytical autists or grifters desperately wishing to wield them to spin some BS narrative. Now, the topic they were discussing was about Ghost of Yotei sales and the validity of using Circana. Now, far as I can tell, Circana has existed since the 1960s under different names, but essentially they're a company that sells compiled data. So they're a company that sells a product, that product being said data, across multiple industries. It's not just gaming, by the way. Now, Smash, at least insofar as this episode is concerned, is some batshit insane, borderline anti-capitalist schizo who believes because said company isn't being transparent, aka giving away its data analytics for free, there is room for some mischievous fudging of numbers for reasons totally unrelated to his grifting on YouTube. Because in his hollowed-out mind, when there's a headline such as Game X is third best-selling for month of August, for example, because you can't see the raw data sales that supposedly produce this result for free, as opposed to the people who paid for the service, who modeled their business off these numbers they paid Circana to accumulate, this is potentially dishonestly engaging in some kind of conspiracy to bullshit the gaming public. And by gaming public, I mean terminally online YouTubers who make cheap slop culture war content and never actually talk about games in any tangible way whatsoever. Now, why said company, who's existed for decades at this point, by the way, would be dishonest with its customers, massive multi-million and billion-dollar entities who pay for their service and damage their reputation, God only knows. But anyway.
You quote tweeted me, that's how I saw all of this to begin with. I just said the kind of anodyne thing about Ghost of Yotei that I really like it. I'm not a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima, so I think it's a big step up from the original game. It's the 18th best-selling game in the United States already, after 3 days counted. And I just, I feel like you and a lot of other people are spreading this somewhat misinformation about what Circana is comparable to VG charts or Alinea or these other places that are actual data houses, as opposed to a company, a 50-year-old company that has direct access to the numbers. So that's, and I feel like you're kind of obfuscating that with your audience, but it's like we can be on two separate sides, but what I'm saying is 100% true. So that's why I wanted to see how you responded to that, and I'll leave it there.
Oh yeah, sure. I think that's actually a good intro to this. So when it comes to Circana, what specific numbers are you referencing for Ghost of Yotei?
The Circana data is the 20 highest grossing, it's actually by dollar sales, level of retail plus digital games sold in the United States, as accessed by Circana's retail constellation, plus their direct access to the storefronts. Famously,
and are they? But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I thought you were done. Sorry. Continue.
I was just going to say, so famously, Circana actually has incomplete data when it comes to, say, Nintendo. Right. Nintendo doesn't share their digital sales, but they can't hide their retail sales because Circana gets that from the retailers themselves, so Nintendo can't do anything about it. On the other hand, Ubisoft recently pulled out of Circana, so their numbers don't appear anymore at all.
Okay.
So the reason why I think this argument about Yotei is strange is it's not if it's doing well or it's not. I don't think it's selling as well as Tsushima did. I think that there's probably a few reasons for that are notable and interesting. But it's certainly doing well. 18th in the United States after 3 days on one console is objectively impressive.
Notice what Colin is pointing out here, as well as the tweet on the screen there. It's merely the sales thus far for 2025. That's it. It's not in contrast to the previous title. It doesn't mean the game is even good, just that it's selling well when ranked alongside everything else for 2025. The second part, from what I can tell, is just how he feels about the game compared to Tsushima, because it doesn't make any sense when you look at the sales analytics, and he mentions it hasn't sold as well as its predecessor.
It's not January or February, we're talking about August numbers, so now we have a stack of games from Monster Hunter Wild and all the EA sports games to other things.
Let me actually ask you about that, because I was thinking about that before the stream. 18th after 3 days, I guess on the surface does sound pretty impressive. But then if you take a step back and consider it's a AAA title, and how many AAA titles launch every year? And we're now towards the end of the year, so there's been a lot of time that's passed. Would you say 20, 30 AAA titles a year come out or so?
Yeah, I think it probably depends on how you even define that number. It's probably more than that, actually. Like if you consider games that will never chart but are pretty good and certainly AAA, like a Chronos or a Hell Is Us or something like that.
No one tell him this, but if there's a stack of AAA games already out and this one can rank after 72 hours, that's a point to Colin's position.
Okay. You could probably get to something more like 50, but even if you wanted to call those AA games or whatever, the point is that the numbers are, or the charts are organized by dollar sales. And they know the numbers, and people with Circana access can see the numbers, but they don't share them because that's the product that they're selling.
There you go. Like I said, it's a service, and the data is the product. So the people who paid for the product, the data, can access the data that they bought. Everyone good so far? Because this isn't exactly rocket science to understand.
We have to remember that.
I don't really, I want to take you to task on that. I don't buy that.
And this is where it proceeds to go off the rails and head off into schizo la la land. Because if you're that thick that you can't wrap your hollow skull around the concept of a company selling a product, when you appear to be that stupid, people will suspect a high level of disingenuousness that rightfully gets you called a grifter.
But it's true. I've seen the numbers. I had a subscription to it.
I think we disagree on that point right there. I don't think it's the product they're selling. I think it's their withholding to maintain good graces with these companies, because otherwise the companies are not going to continue to provide them the numbers if they don't make them look as good as possible. Would you agree with that?
Could we just pause and admire the massive irony of SmashJT of all people accusing somebody else of just saying what the customer wants to hear to make money? You must be kidding me. We're not even 4 minutes into this debate and already he's lost. Do you see now what I mean with the batshit crazy schizo comment? This wanker is so insane. He believes that gaming companies are actively paying Circana to fudge data to make them look good. For who, you gimp? The data isn't public. It's seen by the people who paid for it. Never mind the reputational damage that doing so would inflict on Circana. What the hell would be the benefit to Circana in selling false data that would tank the companies that are paying the money? What do you think they're withholding exactly? True data that shows they're actually all doing poorly as their clients are hemorrhaging money? Do you understand it is in Circana's best interest to keep the businesses that are paying them in business? I would not be surprised if Colin is sat there thinking, my God, I'm dealing with a moron.
No, because when you, and I can understand why people might think that, but the real value in the data. So think about like the number or the charts that they send out every month as like the hors d'oeuvre. And it's like, if you want more than that, sit at the table. It costs thousands of dollars to join Circana. As I said to you on Twitter, and I can expand on it, is like when I was at IGN many years ago and was still NPD group, we had a Circana. It was an NPD subscription at the time. It cost 6 figures. And you're contractually obligated to not share the numbers. In fact, they would be so protective about the numbers that they would often give different people different numbers to try to track leaks.
Now, why is that?
Because it's of value, you imbecile. If you're receiving up to 6 figures for analytics, that's a fair bit of dosh. So I would imagine it would be worth your time and effort to potentially discover holes in your clients, because otherwise you're hemorrhaging money. You know, I could just end the video here, in all honesty, because anyone with half a functioning brain cell can already tell the train tracks are heading off a cliff.
I think it's a fun puzzle.
You're saying it's the gold standard, and I'm surprised that people aren't just going along with it. And I would push back saying, because there is, and I think you'd agree with this, there's a lot of trust me, bro, with it. Like, it's not hard numbers. It's hard numbers if you have access to the data. That's what I'm telling you. Like when I accessed the subscription, it was hard numbers. But because they don't give the full transparency to those numbers, it leaves room to be able to psychologically manipulate how people should feel about something. Is that fair to say?
So, because companies have access to data they bought, they can then use this data to manipulate how people should feel about something. Half-L asked this as well, and it's a good question. Does he think the manipulation occurs at the point of sale by Circana or by the companies that bought the data? Because I would imagine it would look really bad for Circana if they gave the companies false data, who then base products and projects on erroneous feedback. I'm under the impression, correctly by the way, because I have functioning pattern recognition, that this is a bit of a mask-off moment, and this interpretation of data usage says far more about how Smash would use data than Circana. And yes, I absolutely will come back to this point. Amusingly so.
I mean, maybe you can look at it like that, but I really think, I don't know how long you've been tracking like NPD numbers. The NPD numbers go all the way back to the mid 90s. So, and
I mean, I'm not new to this world either.
No, I'm not saying you
I
are,
used to work at Sony. I've been in the game industry myself. I'm not some random dude that just turned on a camera one day. So.
Smashing a lot of X's down on that front.
This is not new to me either. And that's not trying to big time.
Wait, did you say you worked at Sony?
Sony Online Entertainment.
Oh, okay, cool. So you don't know that I would imagine SOE was incredibly attracted to the NPD numbers at the time, knowing that they were contributing to them.
Not necessarily. It was more MMORPG.
You can tell by Colin's face right there, he's already built up a profile of Smash and knows he is hopelessly out of his depth.
Yep.
And what's funny is that I think you might have had a point about the unreliability of Circana data or NPD data as it was back in the day, maybe 5 or 10 years ago. But as of 2023, when they started ingesting the digital data directly from the storefronts, their numbers became extremely accurate. They're probably more accurate than they've ever been since the retail only era.
I'm not questioning how they're accurate with their numbers. I want to be very clear about that.
What now?
I'm not questioning how they're accurate with their numbers. I want to be very clear about that.
Before you were saying there's a lot of trust me, bro. Now you're conceding Colin's position that the numbers are in fact accurate. Which is why people pay for Circana service. You just destroyed your entire argument, you witless Fruit Loop.
I'm saying that they're not divulging the numbers to us, which allows for a lot of variables to enter the picture. Which I think you'd agree with that, right?
Okay. I was gonna save this for the end, but this is the second time he's pulled this conspiracy theory shit, so let me just give my honest take on this BS. I'm of the opinion that these so-called gaming types have let their sub-counts go to their heads. They've become massive egotists with their heads miles up their own asses, and as such they've swallowed their own brand of propaganda. They behave exactly like leftists, ironically. The reality is, the gaming industry is fucking massive, and their opinions are but a drop in the ocean. They represent a minuscule, and I mean minuscule, terminally online fringe. Neither casual nor hardcore gamers give a flying ounce of a wank about the opinions of any of these losers. The moment they see the little echo chamber opinions have no denting effect on the real world, they cope by sounding like batshit crazy schizos peddling conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I think if you interpret them not understanding where the numbers come from, then I think that's accurate.
I mean,
but
I
again, they're
understand
not
where the
going to
numbers
give
come
away
from.
the milk for free. They're not going to like give their. It's
that,
an expensive product. They invest a lot of money into it.
I get that, but I feel like you're running defense for how it operates. I'm just saying, I'm asking for transparency, and it seems like you're protecting how the operation works. Would that be fair?
I think it's fair to say you're a fucking idiot. How Colin has the patience to sit through this tard wrangling, God bless him.
But the reason I wanted to come on and talk to you was just to kind of assure you that like there is no better set of numbers. If you don't trust these numbers, that's fine. That's an accusation that requires incredible amounts of evidence. And getting everyone else's numbers. So it's just common sense. I just needed to throw that out there. There's really nothing else to say about it. We can talk about wokeness and all these other things. I don't care. But like as far as this is concerned, like that is the way it is. You can keep saying like they don't show the numbers over and over again. They haven't shown the numbers since 1995.
Well, let me back it up a little. I mean, that's a loaded statement. To the point where you said, I don't know why you don't just believe Piscatella, like he's the gold standard and all these things. This is why I don't believe him. And I made this post earlier today. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I said Matt Piscatella fellas peddling Ghost Yotei's great line was the very same dude that was pushing Star Wars Outlaws was a success line. The very same dude that peddled Assassin's Creed Shadows has been the best-selling video game line. And let's not forget the very same dude pushing the classic Dragon Age, were Dragon Age the Veilguard's PC volume included it would have placed higher on the best-selling titles chart, perhaps as high as 3rd overall, and he called that launch good. So, I mean, all of these turned out to be incorrect in the grand scheme as far as, I mean, would you unless you'd argue that with me.
No, I would argue with that with you. Our Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of the best-selling games of the year.
Would you say that Ubisoft considers it a success?
What's Ubisoft's metric for successful? Because if you don't know, that question is pretty much a crapshoot. And notice the goalpost shift. What the hell does in the grand scheme of things even mean here? I think Harmful pointed this out as well. Look at the headline. Is it true or not? It's not indicative of anything about the product itself, merely its sales ranking. It could have just been a lackluster year. My patience is starting to wear thin as I'm watching this, not gonna lie. But some of these grifters have a massive problem squaring. I don't know if that's to keep up the gimmick or they're generally that stupid. Hard to tell these days. Ancient Millennia Woe is quote about dealing with leftists here. But anyway, sales is not synonymous with quality. Something can sell well or be popular, but not actually be any good. Case in point, the gaming sphere on YouTube.
I have no problem with these numbers existing or being transparent. What I'm telling you is that I would love a situation where Circana numbers or Circana type numbers were public. It's just that that's the product that they're selling. The numbers don't come for free. You know, they're in the same family as Nielsen and Bookscan and all these kinds of things. These numbers are all hidden. They share them by a. I mean, it's just obvious that they're.
Would you agree that it benefits the customers and gamers and investors even?
Oh no! Oh, good lord!
And developers, like literally everyone, to have actual numbers.
It does. It does benefit. It does benefit the investors. That's why they subscribe to Circana.
Fuck.
That's it, that's a headshot. Largely self-inflicted, but then again, so is everything else Smash said during this train wreck, which just makes it that much funnier. But that's it, there's no comeback from that. You just admitted the data is valuable to the investors, hence why companies pay for it, which also therefore concedes it's accurate. Case closed, you're done. Game over.
They see the numbers.
Right, but I'm just maybe I'm not explaining this.
What's to explain? You just self-owned and lost the debate.
The only reason why you would not be transparent.
Welcome to Coping Hour.
Properly, wouldn't it benefit everyone to be transparent? The only way is to be able to play with the numbers, to manipulate it. Would you agree with that?
No, you stupid How many times does Colin have to tell you this? Data analytics is the products that... I swear to God, this fucker's gaslighting us. There is no way in hell you're this dense. What is your lack of integrity worth? Does it justify this public debasement for the sake of appeasing the troglodytes that comprise your audience? Harmful was right, he does sound like some far leftist simping for socialism. How dare you, a company, make money? Your product should be in the interest of the public good. Maybe this is just my style, because I'm not a peddler of bullshittery, but honesty is paramount to me. If people are asked, who's the most honest YouTubers you know? My aim is to get ranked as high on that list as possible. I may be an arsehole, but you know I'm legit and you can take what I'm saying to the bank. If I watch someone and I have to pause and ask myself, is he disingenuous or just incredibly stupid? That's a red flag to me. Either that I'm being subjected to levels of stupidity that jarring, or that you think so little of the audience that you're willing to take a gamble that that kind of deceitful buggery will go unnoticed. It's offensive one way or the other.
They're not
yeah. Do you think it's healthy for the industry when like people in the know, people that have access media or whatever have anonymous published data instead of official figures? Do you think that's a healthy industry to
I don't think
that like situations like this, like what brings us together tonight where we're debating something where it's like, well, if we just had the information, none of this would be a problem.
I guess I just don't gauge the health of the industry based on the transparency of sales numbers. Like
But I feel like that's what your whole argument is, though.
No, my whole argument is that the most reliable data we have on software sales comes from Circana, that it shows that Ghost of Yotei has done well.
That tells me that you don't care, though. You're like, I don't care about the sales numbers.
I mean, I care about them academically, but I don't look at what you're asking me. Is it like a dark force around the industry? I'm saying, no, I don't give a shit if we know the numbers or not. I care as an analyst, but it has no bearing on anything else. No, most people don't give a shit about any of this.
100% accurate. Where's the lie? Where is the lie? Fantastic.
Agreed. Maybe this is just me. Maybe I'm going insane. Who knows? But as someone who used to be a gamer, I refuse to call myself a gamer now because gamers are cringing gay these days, but I feel like I would get far more use out of content creators that actually review the games and play them, instead of cranking out nothing but slop content around the people involved with so-called gaming journalism and production. I can't imagine I'm the only one who thinks that.
Helldivers is the canary in the coal mine, because they should have and could have said something way sooner than they did, but they didn't. And that game has sold way more copies than almost anything else that they've released this generation, probably except for Spider-Man 2. And
yeah, but that's a little bit different too, because I mean, anyone was playing Helldivers, so I mean, it wasn't like that big of a shock that it was a roaring success.
Anyone was playing Helldivers. I feel like what he just said proves what I stated a few moments ago. Also, if sales data wasn't released till after the game did massively well, does it ever occur to you that you are perhaps vastly overestimating the influence of sales data on consumer spending habits? Which would actually prove Colin's point about not using sales data to gauge the health of the industry.
I feel like that's what we keep getting back to, and maybe if it's a circular argument right now, maybe we can move on from it. But I just feel like right now we're kind of normalizing opacity, and the industry that is being built on consumer spending is allergic to being accountable to the very consumers that they're selling the products to. And I feel like that is a massive disconnect that does not exist in all regions.
Look at that face. That is the face of a man who's aging in real time, having his patience tested by rampant stupidity. The industry that is being built on consumer spending is allergic to being accountable to the very consumers that they're selling the products to. I'm going to assume he means the games themselves, because he's repeatedly refused to acknowledge the reality that Circana sells a desired product. A product that these companies willingly buy, that presumably helped them, otherwise why the hell would they be pissing away money? But how are they accountable to the gaming consumers? Producers are accountable to the investors. What the hell are you talking about?
But it exists here. And all we have to go by is various analysts, not just Piscatella and Circana. There's various analysts that also do this. You say he's the gold standard. That's your preference. That's your opinion, which is fine, but...
No, that's not Colin's opinion. He is but telling you it is used as an industry standard. That's it. If you don't believe him, you can just go look up their client base. He's not defending Circana, merely telling you why the service is utilized.
I don't necessarily agree with you on that.
I think that if you don't, it's totally fine if you don't believe the numbers. I think you have to present evidences to why the numbers don't count and why everyone in the industry believes them.
I just did. I thought we...
No, you didn't do anything. You simply disagreed. But that's hardly a credible rebuttal now, is it? Come to think of it, that's all he's done the entire debate.
What, like, I guess I'm curious, like, what is Circana's W by presenting their clients with bad data? Go ahead.
Have you seen the internet? What everyone's running with right now? How they're trying to get owns on everyone? Oh, look.
Do you understand that Circana's data doesn't exist for the internet, that it exists for the paying clients that rely on its reliability?
Thank you. By the way, you can tell Colin is becoming, understandably ill-tempered because he realizes he's dealing with a culture war conveyor belt. Essentially nothing more than a human Pez dispenser to a herd of morons hell-bent on never leaving an echo chamber. This is why it feels like they're talking past each other, because Colin is just telling you how and why these metrics are used by companies. Meanwhile, Smash's coin purse depends on branding Colin as some kind of corporate stooge. It's a bit, that's what we're watching. It's gay theater.
And why does Matt even tweet anything out?
Because I just said this earlier, because they tease the numbers so that you subscribe to get the actual data. That's why they do it. That's why they've done it forever. And in fact, back in the PS3 era, they stopped even doing that and everyone got mad. So they started releasing them again. That's why. Like, this is a frustrating conversation because you say you worked at SOE. Like, how do you not understand this shit? It's like, it's crazy to me. No offense. It's like, how do you not understand?
I understand. I don't agree with it is my point. I feel like it needs to be more transparent, and I don't...
What do you mean? It needs to be more transparent. As architected by who? Does Circana need to be more transparent? We just have to have the information directly. How? And why are you ever talking about sales? If that is SmashJT's issue, he can never ever talk about sales until the world changes. to be completely transparent. Because any commentary on sales whatsoever will have this problem.
Correct. I just wanted to play that clip because the reaction was priceless. Very much mirrored my own. He doesn't mention where or how the data appears, just that it should be there. Somehow, as if it appears magically from the ether. Again, how stupid is his audience that he thinks he can just waffle through this gay wank? It's embarrassing.
I don't agree with the methods. I feel like it's very disingenuous. It paints a false image. And you're saying, it's fine, bro. This is how it works. Maybe that's where the disconnect is. As I'm saying,
that is how it works. You have to find someone you have to find a new entity that can go to all the retailers and publishers and console manufacturers, get access to all of their numbers, and then give them to you for free. That's what you're gonna have to find.
There you go. Notice, it's not hostile. It's not playing into this desperate cringe conspiracy theory. It's merely listening to his absurd demand and then offering the logical alternative. That's it. Is Smash going to address any of that? Hell no.
In the meantime, there's a company that scrapes all that data and charges for it. I'm not protecting. That's just the way it goes. That's the way it always been. There is no territory in the entire world that shows their numbers transparently. There's none. Japan and Europe show retail numbers.
Right. And
they're not transparent numbers. Most people buy their games digitally. Those numbers are widely useless.
I mean, again, this is your opinion that you're stating as.
It's only his opinion that physical only data doesn't show the whole picture. What the fuck do you mean?
Fact. You're saying most people buy it digitally. These are useless. Like that's not a factual thing. That's
your argument about limitations of oh fuck. Holy fucking shit.
It's your opinion. I'm saying this is a factual thing we're looking at here. Something that's not lied, not this is
something that's not lied. It doesn't show the full picture though, does it? This is your critique of Circana on fucking steroids. Literally just the physical only sales in Japan. It's far more fucking limited.
True. And you know what else is funny? This is how you know Smash is full of shit. Well, as if this video wasn't already an arsenal of evidence showcasing that. But he did a follow-up video on this, on which the thumbnail said, "Trust me bro," where he whinges about transparency of sales, and then talks about his connection at BioWare, talking about Veilguard sales. So, when it's a company who has over 7,000 clients who rely on them to sell them credible data about their own performance, that's somehow shrouded in secrecy, but we're supposed to just trust you and your anonymous source at BioWare. Why the hell would anyone in the industry talk to you, of all people? Secondly, the chart that he has on screen there, the one that says physical units only, that is a chart that he made using ChatGPT. Now, why did he not tell Colin that during the discussion? I'm gonna go with because Colin would have torn him a new arsehole. Well, not that he wasn't already beating a dead horse during this anyway. If you are so confident that these people are lying and you believe AI is more reliable, why don't you and your cringe little posse put your money where your mouth is, pull some money together, and buy the data and stack it up next to each other? Do you honestly think that companies and investors would spend God knows how many thousands of dollars for analytics they can get when they just use AI? Why? Why would they do this?
By the way, I want to be clear. I never said this game is not going to turn a profit. I just said it's going to fail when compared to Tsushima and what could have been. That's always been my argument.
Wait a minute. That's your argument? The sales would have been better if they made some hypothetical sequel that exists in your own head. How the hell did I miss that? And how the hell do you have an audience?
My theory about this is that you guys don't like the game because it has a female protagonist, and you don't like one of the chicks that worked at the studio that said really stupid shit. Nate Fox fired her, so I don't know what else you wanted him to do. And that you're actively rooting against it, like you actively root against all these other games for amorphous reasons of it being quote unquote woke.
Ooh, now Colin is getting dangerously close to the heart of the business model these grifters employ. Let's watch.
You say you guys.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself, which is all I'm going to do here.
Given the fact that you're here, what you've said, and the content of your channel, there is no way in hell you're speaking for just yourself. You're fooling no one, pal. Your model can best be described as woke baiting. Has anyone else ever used that phrase? I can't imagine I'm the first. And then again, I also don't watch the people that do because it's just trough slop.
For me personally, This was the turning point for me. When I saw this, I'm like, yep, I'm out. That's me personally.
You gotta love this moment. Colin correctly calls out the current thing for the group that Smash belongs to, and then Smash confirms it by showing the very thing he and everyone else in that cringe circle jerk of his made videos about. I'm speaking for myself, and everyone else I stream with that always conveniently agrees with me. Yeah, I'm sure that's completely organic. Same with that chick Erica. You damn well know she has no real conviction in anything. It's the crap these idiots peddle because they're in an echo chamber and it's the she thing to do to maintain the graces with all the plebs around them. Same way these idiots maintain ideological rigidity for the sake of their YouTube grifting, and you can see here just how stupid they look doing that.
And I think for a studio to even consider hiring an activist as their lead protagonist for a game, that is a very dangerous road to go down, because then you end up in a situation where there are potentially multiple people like me that see something like this and say, I don't want to support that. This person actively hates me and what I stand for. Why would I support a game and put money in the pocket of someone like that?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think these people know or even care that you exist, let alone your opinion of them. For all intents and purposes, they basically live on a different planet. Not that you're very much different from them. Let's be honest, all of these people are leftists. Really. Look at the degeneracy they advocate for. They're just pissed off a more hardcore branch of further leftists got the spotlight. Think about it. Social media isn't real.
I think that, well, because you're projecting everything about the game based on Sucker Punch's casting decision and the behavior of one of the people at the studio. There are plenty of people at Sucker Punch that don't like me at all. I know a lot of people there. There are plenty of people there that don't like me at all. I have to separate.
Do you want to support people that do not like you actively?
I think if you adopted this mentality with any kind of cult-like adherence, you basically wouldn't be able to make use of any social media. I think that's a fair assessment.
Dude, I'm a conservative in the video game industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's not much of a choice if you want to play games. It's the creative industry. That's just the reality of the situation.
I would disagree
with
with
San
that.
Francisco for
I think
10
the
years.
only
I was the
way
most
to
conservative
enact
person I
change
knew.
in the industry is to speak with your wallet.
And failing that, maybe recognize a couple of potential conclusions, such as your reach is nowhere near as far as you think it is. People don't care about any of this. Or simply, and this is the one that you will never admit to yourselves, you're stuck in a tiny terminally online echo chamber. And the simple reality is, you don't speak for the majority of consumers.
I think what a lot of people are confused about, and what I'm certainly confused about, is the hate and this energy that you guys put towards disliking everything. It comes off to me as touristy.
Oh, of all the punches I Colin threw during all this, that's the one that left a lasting scar. The truth often stings, especially when you're full of shit.
If I'm being perfectly honest
just
with you.
because I don't like what you like doesn't mean anything. I loved Expedition 33 is one of the best games I've ever played. I fell in love with that game. It was amazing. I just finished Silksong, one of the best games I've ever played.
What does that have to do with Ghost of Yotei?
Man, the desperation is palpable, isn't it? You can easily tell this is clearly a hiccup of pitiful defense. Describing any recent games as one of the best games you've ever played does ironically sound like something a tourist would say. At least when someone sipped a little piss and called me a tourist, all I did was get frickin' DOS flashbacks.
What does it have to do with saying you hate everything? I'm like, no, I don't. I just gave you examples of games I love.
Because you brought up the culture war nonsense by bringing up Erica, and your content is a reflection thereof. It has very little, if anything, to do with the actual games themselves. Your entire grift on this front is to tie the artist to the art and then bitch about it. There is a way to spin this into games, by the way. Just say people who look like this produce garbage art. Present some examples and use a qualifying metric sexier than merely sales figures. Not that they would ever do that, that actually requires some effort and creativity, as opposed to just throwing up a picture and going, look, fellow gamers, thing bad. The entire sphere is full of cheap imitators and slot merchants.
But why is your YouTube channel covered in all the things you hate then?
It's covered in things that are interesting to me. There's things that I hate, things that I like, things that are
cheap and low effort, designed to do nothing but boost channel numbers.
Something curious to talk about. That's my YouTube channel. That's always been my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oof. Even to me, that was pretty rough. Just an unimpressive dismissal at Grifter Cope. He's not wrong, but still, ouch.
It comes off to...
The interesting thing about how this all seems to work is people that don't understand who someone else is, oftentimes they just hear the negative stuff, and then they get a perception of, oh, that's all that guy is. because they don't actually research and find out, oh, actually, he's multifaceted and talks about a lot of different things. And I found him because of something he hated, but he actually talks about things that he loves too.
Okay, I am barely interested in this space, and even I know with concrete certainty Colin is right on the friggin' money. And he's been in the industry professionally now for what, about 2 decades? If I know this, I guarantee you he's better versed than I am. Come on.
I looked at your YouTube channel. It was all, I mean, I'm sure there's things on there, but it was all just the same shit.
True. Anyone can do this. Go look up who these people live stream with. They all pretty much have the same takes, same opinions, make the same videos. They are all singing from the same damn hymn sheet. It's just a little click. Oh, and by the way, all these people talk about behind the scenes is what they can say and do to increase their views and sub counts. That's it. When these types go to bed at night, they dream an algorithm.
It's not really about, it's really not about, like, I would love to see, do you do like deep dives into games and like play games with people and like talk about the games you play?
I do.
Or is it about everything that you hate and like the next woke thing and the woman or the...
Again, you can just go and look at the content. It's fairly obvious why Colin is choosing to swing the hammer this way, because it's true, and it's really, really funny.
Well, if you feel bad for people like that, you should think twice about kind of some of the energies you're putting into the ether in the industry.
No, I think it's important. That's why we're here, is to find out information, to give the information to people.
And there it is. See now why I said earlier his interpretation of data usage is a mask-off moment in psychological manipulation? Why do you think he wants the numbers? For the same reason companies buy the data from Circana. It's the information that helps them make money. His audience is full of morons who have no capacity for logical reason whatsoever, who will be bamboozled and suckered by a chart in his basic bitch anti-woke narrative. It's really that simple. My word, it really is like listening to a far leftist blame everything on capitalism, isn't it?
And to get it accurate.
You literally conceded earlier that the data Circana provides is accurate, which is why Collins and investors buy it. And then you desperately tried to pivot away from that glorious deer in the headlights moment.
Yeah, to get it accurate. And that's why I wanted to come on to let you know, everyone in the industry knows that the gold standard of numbers is Circana. Doesn't mean, and yeah, everyone knows that. Everyone subscribes to it.
Did you buy Tales of Concession? Or
yes.
Was it you bought it like, with money? Or was it
I don't get anything for free, dude. Okay. I buy all of my games.
You bought it?
Yeah.
And you played it?
I platinumed it.
Okay.
I don't get anything. That was the other thing I really liked about it, was when you made a video about me and you used the thumbnail with shill in it. You're calling the person who doesn't get anything for free from anyone, who accepts no free games, no early access, no travel, no preview events,
listen to how you talk about
no
stuff.
Anything, and then saying I'm a shill, but you like for what?
Listen to how you talk about Circana and defend it.
Okay. I imagine there's a fair few people who absolutely hate SmashJT's guts, and this bit is a great justification for why. This git has been nothing but a broken deaf record the entire debate, got called out numerous times, and has offered absolutely nothing. He's basically just been Colin's pinata pretty much from the damn get-go. Again, nothing but a broken record, saying he wants transparency and to be accurate. And yet here he is, getting called out to his face for being inaccurate and lying about someone. Does he contemplate an apology, reconsider, show any signs of remorse whatsoever? Hell, even just apologizing to his own audience for getting something factually wrong? No, because he doesn't have the balls to do any of that. He has no shame, no integrity. He's just a sociopathic piece of shit.
So if something is objectively true and one defends it, they're a shill for it.
I don't believe that Circana is objectively true. That we talked, again, circular argument here.
Oh
we talked about how they obfuscate numbers, misdirect, and make it seem like something's better than it is, and then far afterwards go back and correct it with, oh, actually it was way further down than it was because now we have all these other ones that were above it.
No, actually you did that. You made a bunch of blanket claims based on nothing more than your own emotions with no counter evidence to back them up whatsoever. Colin just embarrassed you with the logic and rationality of why a company that sells data has a vested interest in doing so competently, because selling erroneous data benefits absolutely no one. The rest of the debate is just you flailing all over the place, failing to acknowledge this basic reality and hitting the copium tank over and over again.
Again, I'm going to say that would only be a point if they were dishonest with the data at the time, but they were letting everyone know they only had X data. So this is the data that we're presenting. You're arguing. You're literally
So
arguing
when you
against actual
said
data being
it's already
dragged from.
the 18th best-selling game, I don't see any asterisks here. I don't see you telling people that. You just, I mean, by your own definition, this is misinformation.
So you want me to have an asterisk in it, and it says, "Ghost of Yotei is the 18th best-selling game in the U.S. when not counting Nintendo digital games, expansions, DLC, microtransactions, and non-major PC storefront." Like that's the asterisk we have to put in there. If you just look at the data, it says all that anyway.
That's what I mean. To my point, that's why I can't trust Circana, because there's too many things that go into it to use that as the gold standard.
Says you, Mr. I made a chart using AI with a single variable, physical sales, and that's it. These idiots just want data they can use to peddle to their gullible audience that Get Woke Go Broke is a thing. They behave the exact same way the leftists do when they advocate for anything big government. They simply prop up data that confirms their worldview. It's a simple play for the simple-minded. I think Remnant on X said it best. No idea why anti-woke people tried to cope about this so hard. Get Woke Go Broke is obviously false, and two things can be true at the same time. Ghost of Yotei can be a bad game, and it can also sell well and be popular, because a mean and meeting gamer is a tasteless retard.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's like you don't want to hear like what I'm saying.
Of course not, Colin. Smash gains nothing by listening to you because you're making him look like an idiot. In his little narrative, you're the enemy. Hell, the only reason you're on his channel at all is because he wants to use you for content, that's it. The narrative is not about truth and objectivity, because their audience doesn't care. It's like politics, it's not what's objective, it's about animation, it's about what sells. If you wish to appeal to a gullible horde of morons, then you say what appeals to the gullible horde of morons. It's like selling food to a crowd shaped like the Michelin Man. They would no doubt benefit from some vegetables, but their four chins crave a donut, so you sell them donuts. Simple as.
Part of the fun of getting the Circana numbers or the MPD numbers back in the day was trying to plug in the things you did know to try to figure out what you could figure out from the charts. And we already did that. We have numbers for Sonic Racing. We have numbers for Metal Gear Solid. We have numbers for other things, Silent Hill. You can put the numbers in there and figure it out. It's just like, it just seems like you want to disbelieve. And I'm just telling you, not everything is a conspiracy. Not everyone's out to get you. There's literally nothing, there's nothing in it for them to misrepresent the data, because if the data is wrong, then they don't have jobs anymore. If the data is wrong, no one will trust them. Don't you understand that?
Yeah, even if he did, he can't be seen to agree with what Colin is saying, even though it makes perfect sense. It would destroy Smash's grift.
If they are lying about the data and that is found out, that is such a major controversy in the games industry and would be a huge problem. It would swallow that company up. But the exact opposite is true, that they have to be incredibly accurate to have a business that's going for so long. It's the beginning and the end of it. You cannot trust it and not believe it, but it's true.
No idea why he's smiling throughout all of this. He looks like an idiot. Well, it's not exactly like that wasn't a solid speculation anyway.
I just saw this before the stream started. This is from Matt Piscatella on Blue Sky. This is the man we're supposed to trust with facts. He says, never ever let facts get in the way of believing what you wish were true.
Yeah.
If you believe you can fly, you go ahead and touch the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the guy that you want us to.
You realize it's sarcasm making fun of the people about Ghost of Yotei, right?
No, I don't care.
You understand that that's what he's doing, is making fun of the people that are making fun of.
When I read this is supposed to be the gold standard, and this guy says, "Don't let facts get in the way of believing what you wish for true."
He's making fun of you, dude. He's making fun of you. Do you not? Holy shit! Do you not understand that he's making fun of you?
I understand
people
what he's
like
trying to do. This is a self-tell. This is a self-report to me. That's how I read it.
Oh my God.
I don't know how to describe this. It's like if Jackass did gaming politics. Like a series of rakes he's willing to step on to appease an audience who just wants to see someone make a fool of himself for their amusement. Everyone else is just befuddled by this idiocy. Going out of your way, again, I don't know how to describe this because I've never seen this. Voluntarily walk into a troll and it's a Blue Sky account, no less. I'm trying to think of something dumber than this. That alone is a sin that should immediately result in permanent ostracization. It's almost like he had to top his own self-own of admitting the Circana's numbers are accurate and that's why investors pay for it, just to ensure that's not the biggest pop of this debate.
God bless you, dude.
Thank you.
Like, I think you're an interesting cat. I will say this.
Don't know why he said thank you except to save face, maybe, because anyone with sense can tell Colin is clearly being patronizing.
I don't know all the details about your situation with Alyssa or whatever, but I'm a freedom of speech guy and a freedom of expression guy. People talk shit about me, clip my videos, do all that kind of stuff all the time. I never go after anyone. I don't know the specific details of your situation. It has nothing to do with any of those things. I think people are really hard on you for a lot of other things. This is the specific problem I have, is nothing to do with any of the other controversies that you have. It's specifically about things that I know are true that we shouldn't even be arguing about, because there are so many other things that could be argued about. And instead, everything becomes a point of conflict. And it's bad. It's bad for the industry. It's bad for gamers. It's bad for everything. And I feel like you guys, and again, I say you guys, people like you thrive on this sort of energy. It's always content about other people, other people's opinions, random amorphous things, but never about the games.
This will be good.
Never about playing the games, never about enjoying the games, never about streaming the games, doing content about spoiler casts and review discussions, anything like that. It's never about the games. And my suspicion is it's never about the games because that's not where the traffic is for you guys.
Ah. Words cannot describe how much I am enjoying this, and it's going to get so much worse.
So I think that actually the people that have a lot riding on keeping this sort of facade going are content creators like yourself. That's why I wanted to come on, because this specific thing that you're talking about is not true. Your audience can believe it or not. I have to look at the chat later and see what they've had to say, but it is what it is, right? Like,
yeah, I just
want to
like
dispute VG charts data, or you want to dispute Alinea data or whatever. That's different. But you're disputing data from the horse's mouth.
I don't smoke, but if I did, I'd be lighting a cigarette right about now. Maybe a cigar.
That's
Makes
fine.
no sense.
I just don't want to. I don't want to interrupt you. You were on a good one there. I just want to focus on like a lot of what you said. Like, I stream games almost every single night. I talk about games every single time I stream. I talk about what I love about them. I talk about what I hate about them. Everything you just said seemed like a tremendous amount of guesswork and hypothesis about someone you know nothing about.
Don't you love how these people can apply pattern recognition on the things they like? But when Colin does the exact same thing to them and spots the bottom of the barrel slop content they crank out, then it's, oh, you don't know me. You don't need to. You can just look at the content and judge for yourself. Pattern recognition includes you, by the way, especially if you never shut the hell up about the patterns that you think gets you clicks and revenue.
And I don't understand why you would do that, because it makes you look really foolish.
It's you and your stupid audience, maybe. To any sane outside observer, he's got you pegged. I have no idea who Colin is, by the way. I'm literally just going off this discussion. He doesn't seem like someone who shows up unprepared and ill-informed. His explanations for his positions are actually based on some kind of logic and reason, unlike Smash, who sounds like some kind of entitled conspiracy theorist. So the claim of foolish after everything that transpired here is completely empty. It's weightless, much like your head. Smash talks as if Colin isn't real or there.
Last videos, breaking, massive layoffs at Ubisoft. Yotei, next video, Yotei flops. Next video, the gamers' woke revolution crashes. The next gamer, Microsoft has no clue what gamers want. The next one, man wins women's only Fortnite tournament. The next one, now they're saying Twitch CEO Dan Clancy did nothing wrong. The next one, TwitchCon streamers PC infected by massive virus. Like, where is the game? I'm not seeing anything here. There's no, like, I'm scrolling through your shit. Like, I see nothing about any games. There's nothing about a single, there's nothing about I'm calling you out here. There's nothing about a single fucking game on here that you've played. Like, where is the content about
I'm also calling you out. Maybe you should watch them to find out.
This is a level of stupid so colossal that actually requires a detox, which will consist of many cups of coffee, and chin-ups, and listening to Motorhead on loop. He just called you out for your content lacking anything to do with games, and your reply is to tell him to watch it and find out what's in it. This implies your content is not honest because you're clickbaiting and then engaging in a bait and switch. Or the titles are in fact accurate, in which case you're lying. Or rather, trying to lie to Colin, because he's called you out on the fact that you're nothing more than a dime a dozen culture war crank. Neither one's a good look, by the way.
Because, I mean, we both live in this world. You understand how you title videos to get people to get in there and watch what you want to talk about, right?
Which implies you're doing a bait and switch. I think if you did that all the time, you'd have a reputation. Which one is more likely, that or you're just another dime a dozen culture war crank? If this performance is any indication, I am leaning towards the latter.
No,
this isn't like new
we
information
title all
to
the
you,
Sacred Symbols episodes after random song titles, so no, we don't do clickbait, actually.
Okay, well, I wouldn't argue it's clickbait. I would say it's a way to get people interested in a topic that you're going to be talking about. It's applicable. It's not lying about what the topic is, but it's probably the most interesting part of the story in the video that I want to highlight. But I talk about many things in the videos.
The look on Colin's face is priceless during this. You can tell this is child's play for him.
What I think is true is that you wouldn't be able to do what you do if you actually talked about the games.
100% accurate. Where's the lie? Where is the lie? Fantastic.
Again, where are you getting that from?
Let's see. Your body language, the looking away at the ceiling, your voice cracking, your content, your exposed pathetic talking points during this episode. Take your pick.
Looking at all of your videos,
Okay,
like all the titles of your video is like. So I want to understand is within the confines of the video titled Asmongold destroys Sony Pony fanboy. Is there like a deep analysis of Kronos the New Dawn in there that I'm missing? How about is there behind the video the title Goonergate Returns the Extreme Right? Is there some sort of real deep dive into like what Xbox's strategy is?
I'll be honest, at this point, I'm just sitting on the cliff, my feet dangling over the edge, watching the burning train wreck down below. It's fantastic.
Probably not in that video, but Colin, you have to understand, I publish 4 to 6 videos a day. So sometimes you'll find a video that I post that does apply to what you're interested in. That's the beauty of all this.
I'm like a month back now, and I don't see anything on here about any games.
I'm not going at you for what you talk about. It's very strange that
because I talk about video games. I don't talk about other people and other people's content.
I do too. I'm just making the smart decision of not talking about it because I don't know enough about what you talk about to even go down that road. You're doing that with me, and you're making a fool of yourself right now.
No, I'm not. I'm reading the titles of your own videos.
You absolutely are, because people that watch me know that you're making a fool of yourself. If you read the chat, they would be destroying you right now. I'm seeing it. Like,
now I need to provide some context for this next bit because again, it's really, really funny. Now Smash, seeing as he got absolutely mauled during this episode, he did what every loser does when they get mauled. Go to X to cope and seethe for days on end. When Colin pointed out that even Smash's own audience thought he won by near 2-to-1 ratio, Smash replies, "My own audience, my guy, did you not see the amount of people there and read the chat?" You know what's funny? The chat replay has been turned off for the video. I wonder why, so much for transparency. Was hardly my audience. Cope. He literally just said, the people who watch me know that you're making a fool of yourself. If you read the chat, they'd be destroying you right now. So what's the angle here? The chat's full of Colin's fans who watch you, who are dunking on Colin to, what? Presumably troll you, is it? You didn't seem to think they were trolling you, and when they voted Colin won, you now claim it's his own audience all along. And you think Colin is the one coping? Fuck off.
Wizards of the Coast joins extremely controversial trans strategy. Within the video, after you click on it, what you'll find is an expose about BioShock. It's just that you're hiding it behind things that really want to click upon.
That's probably in the BioShock videos that I cover. See, that would make no sense. That would actually be clickbait, what you just described right there. But anyways, this is kind of circular. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No. You're an interesting character, I'll tell you that.
Well, I really appreciate you joining. I know this wasn't easy for you.
It was easier than you think. But I appreciate your time. Thank you all out there. Good luck with your content. Be well. And I don't know. Keep on doing whatever's going on here. We'll see you next time.
Good lord, that ending was rough. No wonder Colin said he felt bad for him after this. And since this ending, Colin has lived rent-free in his head. If you thought the defense of Cope during the debate was bad, my word, the post-debate's been even worse. Like saying the conversation was supposed to be about the sales. Now, in fairness, Colin was the one who brought up the triggering YouTube traffic, but that was Colin's justification for why the conversation was going nowhere, because Smash has a vested interest in pushing culture war crap, given the fact that actually talking about games generates no traffic for these people. Colin is objectively correct there, and Smash was dumb enough to follow that by bringing up Erica. Not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed over here. Then he posted on X comparing weekly active users to sales numbers, which people were quick to point out. Oh, and the numbers he used for that post came from Circana. Like I said, they will cherry pick any numbers favorable to their position. It's not about transparency. It never was. It's simply, where can I find data that says what I want it to? Or pushing clickbait crap, exposing, quote-unquote, data analytics from Circana with Piscatella saying, were Veil got PC volumes included, it would have ranked higher, maybe third overall. And Smash's stupid ass says, this is something they would say to try and sell additional copies. Meanwhile, in the very next sentence, it says, the digital sales are included only in specific charts at the discretion of the publisher. If all the people can see is the rankings, why the hell didn't the publisher include those numbers to try and puff them up in the rankings then, you stupid asshole? That doesn't make any sense. See, this is what pisses me off so much. It's not even that they're cranking out low-tier slop sludge. On some level, I can almost respect deceitful shenanigans if there's some element of shrewdness to it, you know? But when you're trying to prop up a narrative, especially one that got torched during the debate, and the very next sentence debunks the point you're trying to push, my only conclusion from that is that you're either stupid and lazy at best or outright duplicitous at worst. He actually claimed he thought the debate went well, thinking he did all right holding his own, which is insane levels of delusion, and had the audacity to post on X after saying he stands for transparency, accountability, and honesty. And Colin stands for corporate media shilling, trust me bro, and stop questioning authority, saying people trust Circana's numbers when it suits their narrative. Yes, says the guy pulling a trust me bro about some anonymous contact inside BioWare. Says the guy who just used Circana's data when it suited him and tried to compare active user hours to sales. Never mind the dishonesty, this level of shamelessness is borderline criminal. By the way, it's painfully obvious. This is someone who is not interested in objective reality in any capacity whatsoever. It's terminally online, maxed out on steroids. Then he says it's important to recognize that Colin did take the step to proactively have a conversation. Regardless of his angle and agenda, the fact that he wanted to chat is important. Same man who peddles this BS makes a video, Colin Moriarty crashes out and cozies up to Alyssa McConaughey. By the way, the only reason that bint is even remotely relevant is because these easily baited idiots never shut the hell up about her. But anyway, crashing out? You're the one coping and seething here almost a whole week later. He called you out for your gameless slop content, and here you are drama whoring, which proves his assessment of you during the debate correct. Secondly, Colin was the one who wanted to talk to you. Was he cozying up to you by the same logic then, was he? Why would he do that? Now, from what I've seen, Colin did want to talk to us some time ago, so there is that. Why she's only responding now, who knows? Frankly, I don't care. I'm only covering my bases here in the interest of transparency, because I'm objectively better than these people. But anyway, why is it then that when she wants to talk to him, all of a sudden he is cozying up to her? How do you behave in this man and have the temerity to say you stand for honesty? How the hell do you sleep at night? You have no conscience to appreciate honesty, you're a sociopath. I'll end this video by saying this. If you're in this sphere and you platform this snake-oil peddler, it should sour your brand by association and weaken the integrity of your position. It's a black mark on society that people like this are tolerated and not shamed and ostracized, because this level of dishonesty is toxic poison. If you had any semblance of decency, you would recognize this and act accordingly. Oh, and by the way, one last point. Seeing as everyone's been pushing their conspiracies, here's mine. I don't think they have anything against Circana on principle. Hell, I don't even believe they think their numbers are inaccurate. No, the real reason they dislike Circana is because they're all leftists and therefore cheap lazy fucks who want shit for free. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.